As the runner's feet pounded against the pavement, he was acutely aware of the weight of his task upon his shoulders. He knew that he must continue running, though his lungs ached with each ragged breath, and his muscles screamed with exhaustion. To stop, even for a moment, would be to admit defeat, to succumb to the endless tedium of the everyday. And so he pressed on, his body a blur as he careened through the streets, a solitary figure among the throngs of pedestrian life. Despite his frenzied pace, the runner knew that he could not escape the truth of his purpose. He was not a mere jogger, content to amble along at a leisurely pace. No, he was a runner, driven by an indefinable force to push himself to the very brink of his physical and mental limits. And so he ran, a solitary figure in a world of sameness, propelled by an inner fire that burned brighter with each passing step. The runner moved through the throngs of vehicles with a deferential bow, his body bent low in a perpetual state of supplication. The ceaseless drone of engines and the stench of exhaust fumes were his constant companions as he traversed the bustling road. He was a creature of the asphalt and the steel, his being attuned to the relentless rhythm of the traffic that surrounded him. With each passing moment, he felt himself drawn deeper into the web of movement and sound, his very existence subsumed by the roar of engines and the screech of tires. And yet, in the midst of this cacophony, the runner remained resolutely courteous. He knew that the traffic was his master, that its whims and fancies were the only thing that mattered in this world of ceaseless motion. For its part, the traffic was indifferent to his presence. It flowed around him like a river around a stone, its currents undisturbed by his unassuming figure. But in this indifference, the runner found a strange comfort. For in being ignored, he was able to move freely, to navigate the fast-moving road with a sense of grace and ease that belied his humble appearance. And so he continued on his way, a figure of quiet dignity in a world of noise and chaos, courteous to the traffic, deferential to its power, and yet somehow empowered by the very act of submission. For in this world of relentless motion, the runner had found his true home, his being at one with the ceaseless flow of the road. His was a sensibility born of necessity, a finely honed instinct that allowed him to navigate the chaotic world of the road with a sense of calm assurance. As he ran, the runner was acutely aware of the myriad obstacles that lay before him. Traffic lights glared down at him like malevolent sentinels, their insistent commands a constant reminder of his place in the world. And yet he paid them no heed, his determination undimmed by the looming threat of punishment. For the runner knew that his was a higher purpose, a mission that transcended the petty concerns of traffic laws and regulations. He ran with a sense of purpose that was both pure and undefinable, his every step a testament to the singular will that burned within him. The runner's mind was a maelstrom of confusion and uncertainty as he ran. He knew not how much time had passed since he had set out on his journey, nor did he care. For in the world of the runner, time was a meaningless abstraction, a mere construct of the mind that held no sway over the body. How many miles had he covered? How many obstacles had he overcome? These were questions that held no relevance to the runner, his focus fixed firmly on the path ahead. How much time had passed? The question was irrelevant, for in the world of the runner, there was only the present moment, a perpetual state of motion and striving. The runner knew that his was a journey without end, a quest for meaning and purpose that could not be measured in mere moments or hours. He would keep running, his feet pounding against the pavement with a relentless rhythm, his breathing ragged and uneven. And so he ran, his being at one with the ceaseless flow of time and space, his will a testament to the boundless potential of the human spirit. And despite the crushing weight of his exertions, the runner remained undaunted. His will was his shield, his determination his weapon, and with these he would conquer all obstacles that lay before him. And yet, there was something else at work here, something that lay beyond the mere mechanics of running. For when the runner approached a fellow runner from behind, his pace would quicken immeasurably, his form a blur as he raced past his unwitting rival at a breakneck speed. It was a sight to behold, this sudden burst of energy and determination, as if the runner were possessed by some unseen force, driving him onwards with a ferocity that defied explanation. And yet it was clear that this was no mere display of athletic prowess, but rather a manifestation of something deeper and more profound. For the runner was driven by a sense of purpose that transcended the mere act of running, a will that burned within him with a white-hot intensity. The tunnel was a place of darkness and mystery, a place where time seemed to stand still and the very fabric of reality was distorted. And yet, it was here that the runner found himself, his footsteps echoing through the dimly lit passageway as he turned to face the darkness that lay ahead. It was a moment of profound significance, a turning point in the runner's journey that would shape the course of his destiny. And yet, even as he was bathed in the flickering light of the tunnel, the runner remained resolute in his purpose, for he knew that his path was not one of simple direction, of heading back or moving forward. Rather, it was a path of perpetual motion, a journey without end that would take him ever further into the heart of the unknown. And when the juggernaut roared past him, its massive form looming large in the darkness, the runner remained undaunted. For he knew that in the world of the runner, every encounter was but a fleeting moment in a journey without end, a mere obstacle to be overcome on the path to greatness. As the runner emerged from the tunnel and into the light of day, he found himself on a bustling street, teeming with life and activity. The sounds of car horns and chatter filled his ears, and the smells of coffee and baked goods drifted towards him from a nearby cafe. As he passed by, he couldn't help but notice a group of young women sitting at a table, their laughter and conversation filling the air around them. And yet, it was the gaze of one girl in particular that caught his attention. She was dressed in gym or swimwear, her face a mask of stoic determination. But it was her eyes that held him, drawing him in with a fierce intensity that seemed to defy explanation. And as he looked upon her, he realized that she was not real at all, but merely a mannequin, a figment of his imagination made manifest. And yet, even as he gazed upon her, the eyes of the woman remained fixed upon him, unblinking and unwavering. It was a gaze that seemed to penetrate the very depths of his soul, laying bare his deepest fears and desires for all the world to see. For in the world of the runner, there were no boundaries between reality and imagination, no lines to be drawn between what was real and what was not. There was only the endless expanse of the mind, stretching out into infinity, a canvas upon which the runner could paint his dreams and nightmares in equal measure. And so he ran on, his thoughts consumed by the image of the woman, her eyes following him even as he disappeared into the distance. For in the world of the runner, even the most fleeting of encounters could take on a life of their own, becoming symbols of a greater truth that lay just beyond the horizon of his understanding. It was at about this time that he first noticed the other runners around him, their lithe forms darting past him with effortless grace. And though he tried with all his might to keep up, he found himself falling further and further behind, his own movements becoming slow and sluggish in comparison. It was a humbling experience, to be sure, and one that left him feeling small and insignificant in the face of the world around him. For in the world of the runner, there were no shortcuts to success, no easy victories to be won. And yet, even in the midst of this defeat, the runner remained steadfast in his determination. He knew that he could not compete with the other runners on their terms, for he was not like them. He was something different, something other. As the runner trudged along, lost in his thoughts and his exhaustion, a woman suddenly appeared beside him. She was moving with a swift and fluid grace, her body seeming to flow effortlessly through the air. For a moment, the runner was struck by a sense of déjà vu, as if he had seen this woman somewhere before. And for some reason, he pretended to himself that she was the same woman who had earlier been a mannequin, her image fixed in time and space, unchanging and eternal. And so he continued on his path, his mind buzzing with unanswered questions and unresolved doubts. He knew that he could not turn back, could not undo what had been done. All he could do was keep running, keep moving forward into the unknown, hoping that someday he would find the answers he sought. As the runner approached a sharp bend in the road, he felt a sudden surge of adrenaline, a fierce determination to push himself to the limit and leave the other runners behind. He pumped his arms and legs with all his might, his heart pounding in his chest as he raced towards the turn. But just as he was about to make his move, a giant juggernaut roared past its massive wheels, spinning like thunder, its metal body glinting in the sun. The runner swerved to avoid the truck, his body twisting and turning in a desperate attempt to avoid being crushed beneath its massive wheels. For a moment, time seemed to stand still as the runner hung suspended in mid-air, his life flashing before his eyes. And then, with a sickening thud, he hit the ground, his body bruised and battered, his spirit shattered. As he lay there in the road, dazed and disoriented, he felt hands lifting him up, pulling him to his feet. He looked up and saw two male runners standing before him, their faces etched with concern. For a minute, the runner was filled with a sense of gratitude and relief, thankful for the kindness of these strangers who had come to his aid. And yet, even as he struggled to stand upright, his mind was filled with a sense of dread, a deepening awareness of the fragility of his existence, and the ever-present threat of death that lurked just around the corner. It was amidst the flurry of chaos that I came to speak with him, and at that moment, he was nothing but an ordinary-looking man, thick-set and unremarkable, save for his persistent sweating and the constant heaving of his chest. His hair, what remained of it, was in retreat from his forehead. I cannot recall his facial features, except that he was older than I expected, though age seemed irrelevant in his case. He wore a simple white vest and shorts, clothes that were drenched in sweat. He may even have partaken of water, though I cannot recall for certain. As we spoke, it was his running that we discussed, for it was an extraordinary feat that drew me to him in the first place. The incident with the Juggernaut, which should have left him dead, was left unmentioned, as if it were a mere blip on the radar of his existence. And yet, his running was anything but ordinary, for it defied all physical limitations and boundaries, and in some way, his relentless pursuit of it seemed to consume him entirely. At one point, I inquired about his eating habits, and to my astonishment, he declared that he never stopped to eat. He simply ran, with an unwavering commitment that bordered on the fanatical. It is possible that one of us offered him some form of assistance, for he indicated that his bicycle was situated nearby. As I reflect on it now, I cannot fathom why the runner would even need a bicycle. Perhaps my understanding of the situation is askew, but as I approached the bike, I was overcome by its exquisite appearance, and didn't even notice whose hand it was that tenderly caressed it. At the time, I was sure I could hear the bike's gentle breaths, and see its water bottle rhythmically pulsating with life. Though I cannot be certain that the bike belonged to the runner, I fervently hope that it did, for it stirred within me a profound and inexplicable love. What happier conclusion could there be than the runner mounting the bike and pedaling off into the horizon? I dearly hope that this is what happened,